So something that I think is interesting with that is when you're playing in someone else's sandbox, right? Someone else's platform,
Yeah.
you have to abide by their rules.
Yep.
And if you really think about it, Facebook, YouTube, anything else online is really the same as going and playing at an in-person venue. And so
Yep.
for the person that's listening to this that is exploring or continuing to play online, what are your words of wisdom for them to make sure that they are, not only playing in the sandbox correctly, but ensuring that they don't lose their database of information, which is so incredibly critical. I mean, could
Yeah.
be hours, hundreds of hours, thousands of hours of music in their library.
Right. So I try to talk with everybody about redundancies. Um, and what I mean by that, I'm by no means perfect, but I don't rely on any one space to get my music out there. I will put it anywhere that I can. YouTube is always a good place because as the page owner, you can, unless you are in clear violation, and you can always appeal, and YouTube's been very easy to work with, you can overcome that. But having a landing page is like my number one recommendation, because if you have a landing page and you have your videos that you've recorded with whatever means that you want, you can always find a video player plugin and redirect people to your landing page. You own it. It is your box. When it comes to the live streaming, that's something that's still kind of in the air. I know that some people had pivoted to doing some paid Zoom like music performances where they're like selling tickets to get access to like a Zoom show. That may work for some people, and then you can do whatever you really want to on the Zoom call within their regulations, I guess. But so don't rely on just social media like the standard ones like Facebook and Instagram. Rely on YouTube, but also have your own landing page that you can guide people to. It's like, hey, so I'm going to be doing a live event on my website. Go to my website because you are the domain owner, and what you put on there, as long as, and it's gotten so much easier even with the template. Like you can go to Squarespace or any one of those and build your own website and use templates and widgets and plugins to basically drag and drop all of these things, and you are
Right.
the owner.
What is share with us what your website is so that viewers can get in touch with you.
Yeah, so www.sammyleemusic.com for me as a musician, and www.iotacreativecollective.com, and that's IOTA creativecollective.com. And we've got some new stuff coming down the pipe, but all this information I'm trying to compile and make sure that we share. Like I'm going to be posting a lot more of this and all these articles. A lot of it really does come to, do you understand the rules of the game? Like if you're playing, you can play in somebody else's sandbox, as you said, but you have to understand the rules of playing there. And you also need to make sure that you've got your escape ladder ready. Like you have to have your escape strategy, because if that goes down, what do you have to take its place? If you're having to start from scratch, you're going to lose opportunities. And in today's environment, losing opportunities is not a viable business option to anybody. You have to capture every single opportunity that you get, because if you don't, well, you're leaving money on the table, and somebody else is going to grab it.
It's oh, go ahead, Zach.
So when you're talking about collecting information from people and you're bringing people to the website and stuff like that, one way that I would encourage any musician or any business owner that's trying to find ways to reach out and communicate with their clients or listeners, viewers, whatever, is to also be able to have a call to action on that kind of website that will be able to communicate with them as well. So on top of the things that you were saying to do, have your own video uploaded on there so that it's in that player. Also have like something on there that says, give us your email and we'll tell you when we're playing next. Something as simple as that. Then you can communicate with them directly so that if Big Brother comes around again, you can find a platform that you can communicate with them directly. And I've always encouraged people, like, yes, go on all the platforms, do all the things, but realize you are playing in their sandbox, and they will change their mind as to what they want when they want it. And so sometimes platforms like live video, sometimes they don't, right? And so, but if you have that, if you can actually tell me who is listening, who is that person, and then you can take their information and say hello to them, and not just post something, but actually like get in their inbox, wherever that inbox is, one-to-one. That is more powerful, in my opinion, than just being able to broadcast out there, right? Like this show, right? Like we don't do this, we should do this, right? We should have a contact form that says, hey, if you want us to tell you when the show is out, go to this website and we'll do, and we'll let you know. It's being able to communicate with those individuals directly is so incredibly important for when things are great and when things are bad. And I think that that's something that most people don't do and should do more of.
I agree. That's actually one of the things that the app that I was talking to you about earlier that we're looking to develop, which is really designed to help musicians, specifically starting there, which is what I know best and what the community, like, I'm trying to, again, focus on the things that I have an intimate knowledge of, plus the community that I'm working with is looking for solutions right now. And there's no reason that, even though we are smaller businesses as musicians, as these contractors or performers in general, there's no reason that we shouldn't be collecting data like all the big businesses out there. Like, that's the difference, is they're collecting data. Now, I'm not saying that we need to get into like big data harvesting drives or like, any of that, but it is as simple as an email list to sign up, or the people who are tipping you, try to engage them further, because the people who have tipped you once will support you in the future. So it's making sure that you have that return, like, you have those return customers that are coming back, and those are the ones who will be likely, they liked you enough to go out of their way to tip you, whether it be in cash or whether it be with Venmo or whatever. If you can capture that data from that person and invite them personally out to your next show, to your next engagement, or to your special live streaming event that you're doing, or invite only Zoom performance, you can then retain them, and that retention will build your base, but also increase your revenue opportunities for things like, all right, well, first time they tipped, maybe the next time they'll tip and buy a t-shirt, or they'll buy your CD, or so you need to capture people and keep them, like, circle the wagons, keep them in tight, because once they're out in the wild, we all have short attention spans. They're going to find something else, and then you've lost that opportunity. So capturing all those opportunities really come back down to making sure you can stay in contact.
And when you're at a show, and so I had this happen to me, actually. So I was doing when my book first came out, I would do like a book tour, and I'd go to these places, and a handful of people, multiple handfuls of people would buy books, and I would have their contact information. But then I realized that there might be a room full of hundreds of people, and my message might have resonated with them, but I did nothing really to collect their information. And so I realized, okay, I could just have a simple printout form that says name, email, and then I write something funny out, like, hey, I just met you and this is crazy, but give me your cell phone number and I'll call you maybe. The song of the summer 2012, Carly Rae Jepsen. And people are like, oh, that's funny, my book's called Anomaly, so it fits in line. But I print out a handful of those, and I say, hey, every Monday at 10:15 a.m. I send out a newsletter, like a piece of email, and if you would like to be subscribed to that, put your information on this. And like 99% of people fill out this form. And so whether or not it's just people buying from you or tipping from you, I think there's also a way for you to take a form like that. Granted, forms might be a little more difficult at this, in our 2020 world, but get that form out there and pass it out to people, like, hey, if you want me to give you if you want more of me, let's make it easy for me to give it to you.